we've got a full house of cheering fans, including Earl B., the home team's biggest fan.
Earl B, he's our man. Earl B, the home team's biggest fan.
It's Friday, August 31st, 2001. Welcome, everyone, to George Daniels Stadium. I'm Ron Baccalar, along with my partner, Barry Buck, our cameraman, producer, and director, Joe Bach. And for the first time in this young season, the second week of high school football, we are at George Daniels Stadium. The Lorain Southview Saints entertaining the Parma Redmen. And it's kind of interesting, Barry, that the Saints opened last week against Maple Heights and came out victorious 7-6, while the Admirals are playing Southwestern Conference teams. Amherst last week, Avon Lake tonight. The Saints are playing the teams that they're soon going to play in the Lake Erie League, even though we found out tonight Parma and Normandy and Valley Forge are going to exit in 2003.
Oh, I hadn't heard that, Ron. Where are they going to go?
Pioneer Conference.
The Pioneer Conference, back with North Ridgeville. It was in the Pioneer Conference. Yeah, it was kind of strange last week that both Southview and Admiral King would be playing away. George Daniel was empty on the first night of the season, but it's good to see the lights be turned on and ready to play football here on 26th and Ashland.
And we know very little about these two teams, but what can we expect, possibly from Southview? They've got a big gun in Jeff Hughes.
Yeah, you're going to see the ball on the ground. You're going to see the ball in Jeff's hands. He's pretty exciting. I talked to Coach Shoulders. He's ranked in the top 50, I think Tony said 26th, as junior players, best junior players in the state of Ohio. Jeffrey does have a tendency to cough the ball up a couple of times, but he's pretty exciting every time he gets his hands on the ball.
Meanwhile, the Parma Redmen lost to their crosstown rival, Parma Valley Forge, last week Friday. So they come into George Daniels Stadium 0-1, the Saints 1-0. Someone's going to come out a winner tonight. We're kind of pulling for the Saints. And we'll be back with that opening kickoff and the start of tonight's ball game right after this timeout.
It is more than a trial by fire. It is a rite of passage. And if you can master your fear, outsmart your enemy, and never yield even to yourself, you will be changed forever. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Action ready to get underway here at George Daniels Stadium. The Parma Redmen won the toss of the coin, elected to receive. They will defend the north goal. The Southview Saints, meanwhile, kicking off, will defend the south goal. So the Redmen, with a 4-6 record last year, 0-1 so far this season, will try to get it together. And the kickoff picked up on about the 12-yard line. Craig Seidel, the ball carrier, knocked out of bounds on the far side. Redmond's ball, 1st and 10. Checking the starting offensive lineman, our offensive starting 11 for the Redmen. At center, Blake Dents, a 190-pound junior. The two guards, Justin Beets and Mike Finelli. The tackles are Zach Normile and Jeff Osmek. The tight end is Tim Friel, and the split end is Matt Stringer. The quarterback is Doug Myers, a 175-pound junior. The fullback, Craig Seidel. The tailback, Jake Normile. And the first play from scrimmage, a pass from the quarterback. Myers complete to his split end, Matt Stringer.
Ron, unlike the pros, as soon as that young man caught that ball and his knee touched the ground, he was down regardless of being touched by a defender. High school rules do that, I think, to protect their wide receivers.
Whereas in the pros, if they go down but a defenseman doesn't touch him,
they can get up and go again.
Get up and go. Gain of 5 yards on the play at 2nd down and 5. Myers calling the signals, and the pass in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, James Stringer. On the incomplete pass, it's now 3rd down and 5. Myers looking to pass again, throws to the far side of the field, complete, and a first down. Pass taken by Frank Oridi. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Redmen. And the ball spotted on the 42-yard line.
Well, Ron, that's 3 plays, and all 3 haven't been in the air. We could be in for a shootout this evening.
Well, earlier this evening, I was wondering if there'd be any kind of a passing game at all with the monsoon that came through, but we did not get anywhere near as much rain as the greater Cleveland area. Here's the first running play from scrimmage. The ball carrier, Jake Normile, a 218-pound senior tailback, gets the ball to the 49-yard line. Tackle made by Adel Velez.
I'm sure Coach Shoulders and his staff was hoping that it would keep raining, because when you're a ground team, you can keep the ball on the ground with the rain, but kind of hard to throw the ball. Makes it a little more difficult.
Gain of 8 yards on the play, 2nd down and 2. Early moments of the first quarter, no score in the ball game. Myers back to pass, coming over to the near side, connects with Craig Seidel. Seidel picking up a first down, tackle made by Marquel Miller. The ball spotted on the 42-yard line in Southview territory, 1st and 10.
Ron, looking over this Southview roster, I see an awful lot of 10, 11, and 12, 10, 11 graders. A lot of very young team for Coach Shoulders.
Well, his starting offensive 11 consists of 3 seniors, 7 juniors, and 1 sophomore. His defense, 2 seniors, 6 juniors, 3 sophomores. On the running play, little gain this time around. Tackle made by Matt Vimpenny. The ball spotted on a 41-yard line, a gain of a yard, 2nd down and 9.
Well, the Saints did a little better job that time, Ron, of filling the holes. Vimpenny stepped up and made the ball carrier cut back, which allows your defenders to pursue a little better and get the right angles on the football.
Craig Seidel, the fullback, was the ball carrier, picking up that 1 yard. And a flag.
Seems like something you don't see very often, Ron. It looks like Southview's in a 4-3, which is a defense you see in the pros, but seldom in high school.
Well, speaking of the defense, let's check the starting 11 for Tony Shoulders, Southview Saints defense. The 2 tackles are Tony Rodriguez and Matt Vimpenny. The 2 defensive ends are John Stefanchik and Josh Henderson. The inside linebackers, Stanley Robinson and Ronnie Soto. The outside linebackers, Armando Rivera and John Brown. The defensive backs, Sean Nixon, Jeff Hughes, and Marquel Miller. And again, another flag. The first flag, 5-yard penalty against Parma. Brought the ball back to the 46-yard line where it was 2nd and 15. And again, it's going to be offside Parma. And that's going to cost them another 5 yards, bringing the ball back inside their own territory to the 49. And it's going to be 2nd down and 20.
Ron, sometimes it's when the wide receiver is split that far out, it's difficult for him to see where the line of scrimmage is. But the official nearest him will have his foot, and if he lines up on that foot, the man will usually tell him, "You're good on me." And so the wide receiver is lined up the last 2 times past that foot.
Myers back to pass, coming over to the near side, hitting at the sidelines. James Stringer, stop made by Marquel Miller. Substantial gain on that particular pass play, picking up the 10 yards of penalty plus 4 more, where it's going to be now 3rd down and a long 6 for the Redmen. Big 3rd down play for them. 9 minutes remaining in the first quarter, no score in the ball game. And Parma wants to call a timeout. And with no score in the ball game, we'll be back in a moment.
While progress should never come to a halt, there are many places it should never come to at all. So we work locally with communities, businesses, and people like you to save precious places around the world, forever. I'm Paul Newman. Help the Nature Conservancy save the last great places.
On the third down play now, action resuming here at George Daniels Stadium, a big one for the Redmen. And it's going to be Myers back to pass. He's being chased. He's being chased. Finally lets loose of the ball, and it's incomplete. 4th down and 6. The intended receiver, Buck, just a moment. Kevin Colasar, the intended receiver on the incomplete pass, 4th and 6. Go ahead.
It just seems that a lot of their pass plays or rollouts are trying to get away from the Southview pressure. Some of the bigger boys inside, putting the pressure on the outside people to contain them, whether to come up and play the run or play the pass. Tough decision for a high school kid to make.
And you do have some good size on that Southview defense. Tony Rodriguez putting in 20 more pounds of muscle from last year. He's now in at 260 pounds. And here's the punt. Punt made by Scott Griffith. Lands on the 15, takes a Parma bounce, and it's going to be down at the 7-yard line, where the Southview Saints will take over now, 1st and 10 from their own 7-yard line.
I see Parma decided to kick that ball away from Jeffrey Hughes. I imagine that's going to be their game plan most of the evening, is to kick it to one hash mark or the other. They don't want him having a big breakaway early.
And Jeff Hughes is the deep receiver on all of the punts that will come Southview's way. The officials for tonight's ball game, by the way, the referee is Brad Huntley. The umpire is Steve Anadel. Head linesman is Pat East. The line judge, Tom Mathis, and the back judge, Tim Grivey.
Got a flag. I still don't see the flag, Ron.
Flag is over on the far side of the field, just picked up now by an official at about the 28-yard line.
Oh, they called a clip. And they're going to mark it off and give the ball to Parma. I don't quite understand. Unless he clipped him before the ball was kicked. I think that's the only way they can get the ball back, Ron, is if the penalty occurs before they lose possession. Once the ball's in the air, then that would have been a 15-yard, been half the distance to the goal against Southview, and they would have started under 3. It's a big, big penalty.
And a great big break for the Parma Redmen. Coach Shoulders can't be too happy about that one. So the Parma Redmen have new life as they begin again their offensive drive on the Southview 23-yard line, 1st and 10. And the give is to Parma's Jake Normile. Tackle made by Sean Nixon. The ball is on the 15-yard line, where it's 2nd down and 2. A gain of 8 yards on that play.
That was a new wrinkle, Ron. They kept going wide and wide, and then he came back on a counter to the backside with their tailback. Southview pursuing, chasing the quarterback and not filling in the right lanes.
Myers hands off this time to his big fullback, Craig Seidel, a 175-pound senior. Seidel gets the ball to the 5-yard line before being tackled by Adel Velez. It's 1st and goal for Parma.
Ron, that's a crucial mistake to have that penalty. You stopped them, you got the ball back, put it in the hands of your star running back, and now they're knocking on the door with a second chance opportunity.
And when you speak of opportunity, they have 4 chances, barring any turnover, to get that ball in the end zone. The pitch goes to Jake Normile. Normile from the 5-yard line gets up and into the end zone. So the Parma Redmen get on the board first with 7 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. They lead 6-0.
Well, again, Ron, he started left and cut back to the right. I'm sure they're taking advantage of Southview's eagerness to pursue to the ball. Defensive coordinator Rocky Hammond's going to have to work on them getting in the right lanes and watching for the cutbacks. Good coaching on the Parma side to pick that up and tell their players to look for that.
Dan Belmore will be the holder, and doing the kicking, Scott Griffith. On the extra point try, the ball is in the air, and it is good. So once again, with 7:31 remaining in the first quarter of play, it's Parma 7, Southview nothing. We'll be back in a moment.
My name is Maya, and my cat's name is Millie. This is Billy. I know Billy.
Where did you get Millie?
From the shelter. Next time I'm going to get a dog. And my dog's name is going to be Snowball.
Where are you going to get Snowball?
At the shelter. They take very good care of animals at the shelter.
7-0 Parma, and Scott Griffith getting ready to kick off to the Southview Saints. This will be the first opportunity for the Saints to go on the offense. And a low squiggler picked up at the 31-yard line, and as you pointed out earlier, Barry, the knees were already on the ground, so that's the end of that opportunity. And Sean Nixon recovering the squibbler.
With Southview's speed back there, Ron, I don't think Parma's going to give them any chance to return anything. I think you're going to see punts and squib kicks like that most of the evening, keep the ball away from that speed. We'll take their chances of beating us on the ground from line of scrimmage. We're not going to have a big play on a punt return or a kickoff return.
Well, the Saints have decent field position on the 31-yard line, 1st and 10. The quarterback is Mark Majoris, a 170-pound junior, and the renowned tailback Jeff Hughes, a 190-pound junior. In motion is Stanley Robinson, a running back, a 170-pound junior. And the give is to Jeff Hughes. Hughes gets the ball across the 35 up to about the 38-yard line. And the tackle made by Jake Normile and Chris Leo in on the stop. Gain of 7 yards on the play at 2nd down and 3 for the Saints. The other running back in the Saints backfield, Adam Figueroa, 170-pound junior. In motion is Robinson. Majoris back to pass, being chased. Let's go, and almost intercepted. Broken up on the far side by Jeff Boris, the intended receiver, Adam Figueroa. It'll be 3rd down and 3. The offensive line for the Saints at center is Ferris Stevens, a 190-pound senior. The 2 guards are Kyle Ramirez, a 190-pound sophomore, and Tony Rodriguez, a 260-pound senior. The left tackle is Josh Henderson, a 210-pound junior. Right tackle is Gary Atkins, a 250-pound junior. The right end is Ryan Humphrey, a 230-pound senior. And the split end, Jason Messer, a 170-pound junior. And the ball carrier, Jeff Hughes. We'll see where they spot it. They're going to take an official timeout, possibly for a measurement. Tackle made by Justin Beats. And they're saying 1st down, no measurement, good enough. Southview Saints maintain the offensive drive, 1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line.
I find it interesting that Southview doesn't have a lead blocker for Jeff Hughes. They're trying to spread him out with motion, trying to pick up their rotations, and then letting him go by himself.
Hughes again, the ball carrier, gets up close to the 49-yard line. That'll be a gain of 7 yards. It should be 2nd down and 3 for the Southview Saints. Both these teams, Parma and Southview, have identical records from last year, both with 4 wins and 6 losses. As we've indicated, Coach Ron Skelly of the Redmen losing their opener last Friday to Parma Valley Forge 34-20, while Coach Tony Shoulders' Saints victorious last week against Maple Heights 7-6. Majoris pitching back to Hughes. Hughes breaks in the open, 40, he's to the 30, he's to the 20, the 10, the 5, he's in the end zone, touchdown. And the Southview Saints, with 5:31 remaining in the first quarter of play, that's a 51-yard scamper for the touchdown.
Around the play before, they ran to the short side, to the tight end side. This time they came back to the double wide side, give him 2/3 of the field with 2 blockers. He beat the end, and then it's just off to the races. Parma just doesn't have anybody that can contain that kind of speed.
Now will come the critical point after to tie up this ball game. Josh Fossey will be doing the kicking.
Coach Shoulders informed me that's another soccer
Bad
player.
snap, but a good kick. And it's through the uprights. We have a tie ball game at 5:31, 7-7.
Another soccer player, Ron, another converted soccer player who's come out to first time ever kicking a football. I was watching him in warm-ups. He was droning from 35, 40 yards, so Tony's got another weapon he can use if need be.
We'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment.
Your one-stop place for something really special is Impressions, corner of Oberlin Avenue and Tower Boulevard. T-shirts and sweatshirts personally designed to your specific needs. Anything from bears, trains to zebras, and specially designed hats as well. And don't forget Impressions, your one-stop spot for school jackets. See Dave, the designer expert at Impressions, Oberlin Avenue at Tower Boulevard, right here in Lorraine.
Josh Fossey kicking off for the Southview Saints. Still a soccer player.
Third soccer player. Again, as we talked last week,
Yes.
Southwest Conference does not allow kids to play both sports, so Mr. Cantu decided to give up soccer and play football, and the boy from Avon Lake, the Port, he decided to do the same.
Good kick by Fossey. Taken on the 15-yard line by Frank Oridi. Oridi getting the ball up to the 34-yard line where the Redmen will take over once again, 1st and 10.
Ron, if this were Saturday afternoon, you're looking out on the field, you might think that we're seeing Ohio State play.
With the Redmen's colors, absolutely. Good old crimson and gray.
As we alluded to earlier, if they were playing Admiral King, it might look like a Ohio State Michigan game.
Yeah. From the 34-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Redmen. Doug Myers in at quarterback. Looks over the defense, barks the signal, and hands off to his tailback, Jake Normile. Normile gets the ball up to just across the 40-yard line before being brought down by Matt Vinpenny.
Ron, that formation, Parma had no tight end. They had 3 wide receivers. So they're trying to spread out the Southview defense, and that 4-3, making those linebackers spread out a little bit, and then trying to run the ball inside. Here's a case where they're trying to run the football so they can throw it a little later on.
Gain of 6 yards, 2nd down and 4. The give this time to Tim Barris, a 195-pound junior fullback. Barris gets the ball just inside the 45, but enough for a 1st down, 1st and 10 for the Redmen.
Ron, that's at least the 5th or 6th different offensive formation we've seen Parma run. Wide receivers, double wideouts, double wings. I think they're just trying to spread them out and maybe confuse them a little bit. Here we have 2 receivers to the top, split into the bottom again, no tight end.
And movement on the defensive line, that's going to cost Southview and give 5 additional yards to the Redmen, giving them a 1st and 5 unless the defense was drawn. We'll see what the officials say.
Ron, again, unlike pros, you notice in a pro game, the defenders can step into that zone and step back out with no penalty. In high school, once the defender crosses that neutral zone, 1 yard from the ball, it's an automatic 5-yard penalty, even without contact.
Saints just a bit too anxious. They had to pay 5 yards for it. 1st and 5, the ball just inside the 50. The give is to Craig Seidel. Seidel gets the ball across the 45. Should be enough for another 1st down for the Redmen. Tackle made by Stanley Robinson.
That penalty, Ron, was probably a case of Parma going on the same count most of the time and the kids getting used to listening to his voice. And I'm sure that Coach Hammond is stressed. You watch the football. They can't go anywhere till the ball's moved. Now we have Parma with 2 tight ends.
The give again is to the tailback, Jake Normile. Tackle made by Tony Rodriguez. Gain of 7 yards on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 3.
Kind of looks like that Parma's decided they can run the football on Southview. No sense putting it in the air if they don't have to. We'll just keep going on the ground, first down after first down.
Actually, the ball spotted on the 39, so let's make it 2nd down and 4. 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Clock continues to run. Tie ball game, 7-7. Myers back to pass, and just off the outstretched hands of James Stringer.
You know, Ron, I was just about to say maybe they're going to try to lull him to sleep and catch him looking for the run, and that's exactly what they did there. The defender was peeking inside to see if they were coming his way, and off they went. It's a great call, just a little too far. Good call on second, and he knows he's in 4-down territory. He tries for everything on 2nd down. He's still got 2 downs to get 4 yards.
Exactly.
And you can see that Coach Shoulders is taking the defender out to have a chat with him to let him know about that.
He was not too happy about the possibility of that being a touchdown. Good defensive line work there by the Saints. Stanley Robinson making the tackle on Jake Normile.
See, Parma's decided to try to put the Saints deep instead of sometimes the best defense you have, Ron, is the offense, holding the football and keeping it away from Jeff Hughes. But it's like Parma's elected to give it up.
Scott Griffith standing on the Southview 46-yard line. Not the normal depth for a punter.
He was short last time, too.
I'll tell you, he is not going to punt. He is going to run, picking up a 1st down and being knocked out of bounds by Jeff Hughes on the far side of the field at about the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Redmen. Somebody should have been aware that that was not the normal depth of a punter. Normally, a punter stands 15 yards.
Well, the last time they punted it, Ron, he was that quick. He was that short, too. So it was going to be a quick kick inside. They were looking just to put it down there, and that was the same lineup they had last time. So, you're right, normally they're 12 to 15 yards deep. But he was right there. Again, as we talked last week, that's the advantage of having an athlete as your punter. You can do a lot of different things.
From the 19-yard line. And into the end zone, Jake Normile. Chased by Jeff Hughes. Hughes just could not catch up. And Jake Normile, 218-pound senior tailback, takes the ball into the end zone with 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first quarter, putting the Parma Redmen on top 13-7. Scott Griffith will try the extra point. And you were talking earlier, Barry, about lulling someone into expecting the expected but getting the unexpected. Kick is in the air, and it is good. Possibly that's why the short punt the first time around, figuring, well, he's going to do it again, and look what happens.
They've executed a good game plan, but they've gotten, 2 times Southview's held them. One was a penalty, gave the ball back to the Redmen for a touchdown, and this one was a fake punt. They just didn't cover it, and it's cost them twice.
With our score 14 Parma, 7 Southview, 2:10 remaining in the first quarter. We'll be back with the kickoff in a moment.
For generations, African American women have been center stage in the lives of their families, taking on strong leading roles as providers and caretakers. We applaud you, darling, but there are times when we need support and care, especially when a stressful disease like Alzheimer's strikes. Caring for someone with Alzheimer's takes its toll. So take care of yourself, see your doctor, and contact the Alzheimer's Association at 800-272-3900. We're there to give you support and to put the spotlight on you.
So he's not
Scott Griffith will be kicking off for the Parma Redmen. Jeff Hughes is not in the deep receiver position. He is being replaced for the time being by Adel Velez, and some taping was going on Hughes's hands. In the meantime, another low squibbler picked up by Adel Velez. And Velez still on his feet, but he's tripped up just as he crosses the 35-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Southview. The ball, and there's a flag right where the ball is spotted on the 38.
We might see a late hit there. Oh, it's a clip again on the Saints. That was right about where the ball was stopped, so it's probably another senseless penalty. The ball carrier was already grasped and down, and some over-aggression cost him big time again.
And that's the kind of activity that will give a coach gray hair.
It's just things that, as a young team, you're going to see. You got all the sophomores and juniors out there. It's their first home game. They're playing in front of their family and friends, and it's hard to control. You don't want to tell the kids not to be aggressive, but they have to learn when not to be.
Well, instead of a 1st and 10 from their own 38, it's 1st and 10 from their 22. Jeff Hughes, the ball carrier. Ball will be spotted on the 38 or 28-yard line. Matt Boris making the tackle for Parma.
Ron, it'll be interesting to see how that left hand being taped affects Jeff holding the football. Great runners will shift the ball from one side to the other to help maintain their balance. And if that's a sore hand, if he gets hit on that hand, that ball could come loose at any time. So keep an eye on that.
Gain of 6 yards on the play, 2nd down and a short 4. The pitch again goes to Hughes. Hughes looking for running room on the far side. Picks up the 1st down for Southview and knocked out of bounds. They'll spot the ball on the 37-yard line. 36 of 37. 1st and 10 for the Saints. And I'm sure they'd like to get a score on this drive. Clock is stopped momentarily with the ball carrier going out of bounds. 1 minute and 13 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 14-7 our score. Parma in the lead. In motion, Stanley Robinson coming to the near side. The give again is to Jeff Hughes. Hughes with running room takes the ball to the 45-yard line. It'll be shy of a 1st down, 2nd and 1.
Ron, when you got a runner that can cut like that, you just teach your linemen to get in someone's way, even what we used to call excuse me blocks. You don't have to knock people down, just get in their way, and he heads in the general direction, and he's on his own from there.
Last week, Jeff Hughes scored the only touchdown. He did have 2 fumbles, however, in the ball game against Maple Heights. His 1 touchdown was a 36-yard run. His one tonight so far, a 51-yard run. Again, the pitch goes to Jeff Hughes, looking for the running room. The 1st down is his. He's got the ball inside the 50-yard line in Parma territory.
Ron, a lot of times a kid like Jeff gets most of the credit, which he probably deserves. But on that play right there, number 26, Stanley Robinson threw an excellent block. And Jeff's going to read his block. He's going to see if Stanley can hook him. He's going to run outside. Stanley couldn't get the angle on him, so he kicked him out, and Jeff cut inside for the 1st down. It's an excellent, excellent block on Stanley Robinson's part.
Sean Nixon in the ball game now, replacing Adam Figueroa at wingback. 1st and 10. This may be the last play of the first quarter. Robinson in motion. Majoris back to pass over on the far side and connects with Jason Messer. Messer knocked out of bounds.
He fumbled the ball out of bounds, Ron, but they bring the ball back to where he was tackled, so they don't get the advantage of the 5 yards of the ball going out of bounds.
And the ball going out of bounds with just 1 second remaining in the first quarter, so there will be one more play.
I think Coach Shoulders is taking a page out of the Parma book, and he and his offense coordinator, Scott Bryant, again, they're throwing the ball out there, one-on-one coverage, trying to get the ball, trying to spread out Parma a little bit, take a little pressure off of Jeff.
Ball on the 36-yard line. Robinson in motion. Pitch comes back to Hughes. Hughes looking for running room, almost tackled in the backfield, breaks away, picks up the yardage to the 32-yard line where they'll spot it, and that's the end of the first quarter of play with the score Parma 14, Southview 7, and Southview on the move. We'll be back in a moment.
Since 1921, your hometown financial professionals at First Federal Savings of Lorain have dedicated themselves to meeting the financial needs of their customers and surrounding communities. They offer a wide variety of financial investments as well as home mortgages to meet your every need. Loans on boats, cars, mobile homes, and other worthwhile purchases are also available. Whatever your financial need, First Federal Savings of Lorain is ready to help. 7 convenient locations to serve you in Lorain, Huron, Sandusky, Port Clinton, and now at 36690 Detroit Road in Avon. First Federal Savings of Lorain is an equal housing lender and FDIC insured.
We are all different.
We have one thing in common. The first time we were offered marijuana, we said what was on our minds.
We'll have another first for you on TV 20, just like last Friday from Amherst Memorial Stadium. You're going to see some halftime activity with the Southview Saints marching band tonight. So you band parents watching, stay tuned. At the end of this quarter, you'll see your sons and daughters in the marching band. And wow, Majoris going back to pass. He was hit and hit hard. Leading the tackle, Tim Barris for the Redmen. A loss of the play, the ball back on the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 11.
That was a case of the tailback was supposed to pick up that guy, and he just didn't get a block on him, and Majoris paid for that.
We were talking about the 2 fumbles that Jeff Hughes had in the ball game last week against Maple Heights, and there's a reason for it. You were telling us during the break. I'll have you comment on that in a moment. Robinson again in motion. Majoris back to pass, being chased. And he finally lets loose with the ball and into the hands of Stanley Robinson. What a play, what a pass.
Ron, he was about 1 step from getting his head knocked off, and that's a great play on that kid's part for holding that ball as long as he could. And again, the defenders from Parma, do I play the run, do I play the pass? And he stuck it, and the young man who caught the ball paid for it too, but he held onto the ball, and I think it's 1st and goal.
Stanley Robinson, a 170-pound junior.
You know, we've mentioned his name a lot on the defensive side. He threw the block before, now the great pass. Catch.
Ball is on the 5-yard line where it's 1st and goal for the Saints.
Well, Ron, do we want to take any guesses who's going to carry the ball the next at least 3 times?
And a flag on the far side. The line judge.
It's usually on the defense for lining up in the neutral zone.
And the Saints are applauding, so I believe you are right on that, and that's half the distance. That'll put the ball on the 2.5-yard line. Still 1st and goal.
Yeah, Ron, we were talking about the fumbles. I watched Jeff play last year, and as all great running backs do, he's always trying to get away from a tackler, and even when he's in the grasp, he's trying to change the ball to the other hand to get balanced and get free. And right before the end of the quarter there, he almost dropped the ball. Trying to get loose and always looking for that extra yard. So it's usually done on extra effort is when he'll fumble the ball.
Jeff Hughes, the ball carrier. This time he tucks it in and takes it in the end zone. Touchdown.
If you notice that time, Ron, he had his hand wrapped around the ball. He wasn't going to shift anything.
Amen.
It's just get inside, and we got 3 chances. I don't want that ball being moved.
Josh Fossey will attempt the extra point, holding Jason Messer, and an opportunity to tie up this game.
Well, I imagine there's a little banner going on between the Southview coordinators. Scott Bryan saying, I keep tying it up, Rock, you got to hold them.
And the kick is in the air. No good.
I remember at King when I was with my good friend Tom El Cisco, he used to say, hold them to 14 and we win. I'd say we'll score 40 and we could win.
All right, with the score, Parma 14, Southview 13, 10:29 remaining in the second quarter. We'll be back with the kickoff.
There's this guy, always in my face, shouting at me. Just pushes me. but I love him. He's my coach. My coach.
Be a coach. Be a fan. Special Olympics.
There this guy.
Josh Fossey kicking off for the Southview Saints. The ball on the 40. And a high kick. Taken on the 12-yard line by the Redmen. Running with the ball, Craig Seidel, and he is brought down. Parma with the ball now, 1st and 10. Tackle made by David Mercado.
Ron, looking on the Southview sidelines, or I talked to him earlier, was Rick Ramirez Sr., teacher at Whittier, who's been a long-time football coach, has moved up to the high school, helping Tony, and his son is playing. So we have a father-son combination on the Southview sidelines. Makes for interesting dinner conversations.
Yeah, I'm sure.
For the sake of Kyle, I hope he's a wide receiver.
The ball on the 23-yard line, and the pitch goes to Jake Normile. Normile gets the ball to the 37. Tackle made by Ronnie Soto. Pickup of 5 yards on the play, 2nd down and 5.
I'm not sure many people know that Coach Tony Shoulders took a couple of years off before he became the Southview head coach and coached Division I AA football at Tennessee State. Was a defensive back coach down there. So he has a little understanding of what it takes to be a big-time football player.
Give again is to Normile. Looking for running room. May have picked up a yard on the play. Ronnie Soto making the tackle. This is the 2nd year for Tony Shoulders as the head coach for the Southview Saints. 17 years of coaching all in all.
One of the things you want to do, Ron, and to help you out with your program is to bring some established coaches in. He has Rocky Hammond as his defensive coordinator. He was head coach at Oberlin, head coach at Clearview, been a long-time football coach. I think he was an assistant at Avon Lake.
Myers passing, incomplete. It'll be 4th and 4. A gain of a yard on that last running play by Jake Normile. 4th and 4 and a punting situation for the Redmen. Doubt very much if they'll take a chance here, but you never know. You never know.
Ron, I noticed that Jeff Hughes is not back this time, and it's Marquell Miller, sophomore. And if you notice this time, Ron, the punter is back a little further.
Yes.
He's back his usual little...
Oh, and over his head, a bad snap. The ball, and he kicks it out of the end zone, and that'll be a touchback.
No, that's a penalty.
A penalty, okay.
That'll be Southview ball there. That
the
should
flag
be
is on the
ball.
5.
Should be a Southview ball. I understand his intentions, Ron, was to get the ball to keep them from getting a touchdown. At worst, he could have gotten was a safety. That's what he was hoping for, and give his team 2 points or give Southview 2 points and keep them from scoring a touchdown. But he just did something he's not allowed to do. Oh, it is a safety.
They're indicating safety. Captain Tony Rodriguez. Yes, indeed. And that'll give Southview 2 additional points, giving them the lead here at the 8:20 mark of the 2nd quarter. The score 15 for Southview, 14 for Parma, and Parma will have to punt the ball from the 20-yard line, so Southview will have a chance again to punch the ball into the end zone.
Ron, on the free kick, they have the option to kick it off also. They don't necessarily have to punt it.
And all the time, I want to point out, as we were looking at the clock, all the time that was going on down there, the clock was running. And so the officials are going to have to work something out here. I'm sure put some time on the clock.
And I think that's what he's talking to Tony Shoulders, is to tell his assistants upstairs to tell the scorekeeper. Usually most teams are on an option to punt the ball because they can kick it a little higher and give their teams a chance to defend that. I know Tony Shoulders was probably thinking of a way he had to make up for that extra point miss. I don't know if this was in his game plan to get the safety, but he got the 2 points that he needed. he declined the penalty, so they probably would have had to punt it over again. So he decided to take the safety. Always want to put points on the board, and he should get the ball in he should get the ball inside Parma territory unless this young man really kicks one, but he should get the ball in pretty good shape. See, they are going to kick it off. Chances are we're going to see a line drive squib kick and hope for the best. Again, they just don't want to put the ball in the hands of that speed.
Now, as you indicated, if this is a free kick, is it possible?
Onside?
Onside?
Yes, it is. It's a free kick. I'm sure that Coach Shoulders has, I don't know that Parma would try that, only because the Southview would get the ball in the 30.
Yes.
But yes, it is. It is a live ball after 10 yards.
Well, we'll see if Parma has any additional surprises in store as Scott Griffith kicks off. And the ball taken on the 34-yard line by Southview's Adele Velez. And Velez gets the ball across the 50 into Parma territory. Good field position for the Southview Saints. They'll have it 1st and 10.
Ron, that was about as well as Parma could expect to do. That young man kicked the ball inside the 40 on a line drive. He just didn't quite get the coverage that they expected, but that's about as well as you can do with a free kick from the 20.
23-yard kickoff return by Velez. 1st and 10, Southview's ball on the Parma 40. We'll make it the 44-yard line.
Well, let's see if Coach Shoulders just pulls and goes for everything on the first. Again, he's probably in four down territory.
And the handoff goes to Jeff Hughes. Hughes gets the ball across the 40-yard line. Pickup of a long 4 yards at least. Daryl Michaels, the tackler. Ball spotted just inside the 40. Gain of 4, 2nd down and 6. Last week, by the way, Mark Majoris, Southview's quarterback, had 9 completion for 20 attempts, no interceptions, and a total of 72 yards through the air. This time the give is to Robinson. Robinson trips up and gets just across the 40. Might have gained a yard at the most on that one. Daryl Michaels again, the tackler for Parma.
Well, you know, Ron, one of the reasons they're going to give that young man the ball a couple times a game is otherwise Parma's going to just ignore him. He's in motion every play. You got to get him involved in the game, or that's just one less person they have to defend against.
And a flag.
That's going to be. Oh, that's a call. I don't know how many times he's warned him, but he didn't. The umpire, the line judge, is saying that the Southview players were on the field too close. And if he's warned him once, I don't know that I've seen that call too often.
No, this is the first time I've ever seen it. But I'm sure, as you pointed out, he had to warn them once, maybe even twice, and enough is enough. So we'll tack 5 yards on.
Oh,
and the pass from Majoris intended for Ryan Humphrey. Incomplete.
You might notice that the umpire was signaling the ball was tipped by one of the defenders, which would mean that the ball's live and Southview could get after it again. So this is Southview's first punting attempt.
Josh Fossey doing the punting as well as the kicking off and the extra point attempts for the Southview Saints. He is the Saints' foot, and a bad snap, but he manages to grab it on a high punt. Lands on the 21, takes a Southview bounce, and rolls down to close to the 5-yard line.
Ron, that's a great heads-up play for a young man that's never played football. Not only did he have presence to get over and catch the ball, but then he just got to get it off his foot. He got a lucky, fortuitous bounce, and it rolled all the way. And in the paper, that looks like about a 45-yard punt with no return.
No return. There you go. It'll be Parma's ball, 1st and 10 from their own 6-yard line. 6:17 remaining in the second quarter. It's the Southview Saints leading 15-14 by virtue of that safety. But they could not capitalize on the opportunity after the Parma Redmen had to kick off. And the Saints defense coming to the call as Parma gets the ball to the 10, gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and a long 6.
Around the first series that Parma ran, they ran 3 passes in a row. I don't know, they've thrown the ball 3 times since then. They've kind of just buttoned it up and tried to stay inside, and what we thought was going to be a shootout on the wide sides of the field has become a tackle-to-tackle football game.
And here comes a pass. Myers looking to pass. He can't get the ball away, and he is stormed. Leading the charge for the Southview Saints, Brian Joyner, a sophomore defensive player for Coach Tony Shoulders.
Now for the Southview faithful, there's another name they might recognize. His dad, Brian Joyner, is a teacher in the system and was at one time the head football coach at Southview High School. So I'm in the stands a little earlier as I was coming up here. And you had mentioned earlier a Brown for Southview, John Brown. His dad was a great baseball player at Admiral King a couple of seasons ago. Probably more than John wants to admit, but.
Ball was taken back to the 5-yard line, and a pass by Myers to the outstretched hands of Craig Seidel, incomplete. 4th down and 11 for Parma from the 5. And that's going to mean Scott Griffith going into the end zone to punt.
He'll be in his short punt formation, Ron, not by choice, though.
Yes, not by choice.
He has to make
by
sure
necessity.
He has to make sure that he knows where he is and he can't step back. He's probably going to line himself up into the end zone. He's again very short. This is going to be a very quick kick.
He is not even halfway into the end zone.
So it's going to be a quick snap, quick punt. Nice punt.
Nice punt. Over to the far side, takes a good Parma bounce, goes out of bounds at the mid-stripe. Southview will take over once again, 1st and 10 from the 50. With 4:42 remaining in the second quarter, Southview 15, Parma 14.
Every time an adult gives up on our kids, every time we surrender to the belief that their future is out of our hands, another child is left behind. I'm General Colin Powell, and I don't believe in giving up. That's why I'm asking you to join America's Promise. Log on to americaspromise.org or give us a call. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you can do something important. Pull your weight.
Mark Majoris calling the signals. Robinson in motion. The pitch to Jeff Hughes. Hughes across the 50. Does not gain much on that one. Maybe a yard at most. Matt Greisler, the tackler for the Redmen. The ball just inside the 50 now. Gain of a short yard, 2nd down, and a long 9.
I see them throwing the ball all the way over to the Southview side, Ron. I wonder if they're using different balls. In high school, you can do that. You have the option to use the ball that's approved by the state, and some schools will use a different football, and I see them throwing it all the way over here rather than going to the short side. So we'll have to keep an eye and see if that's what's in truth happening.
Majoris to pass. It's tipped away and intercepted. Parma intercepting the ball, and running with it now is Jeff Boris. Boris on the interception gives Parma new life and decent field position. They'll spot the ball on the Southview 46-yard line. What a bad break.
See Coach Shoulders talking to the line judge. He might be asking him about, was his man interfered with before the ball got there?
The ball carrier, Jake Normile. Normile picks up good yardage on that running play. Gets the ball to the 37-yard line. It'll be close to a 1st down. Tackle made by Kyle Ramirez.
And Coach Ramirez is probably sitting up there and saying, that's just the way I used to do it when I played.
Gain of 9, second down, and a long one for the Redmen.
Plenty of time, Ron, 3 minutes.
And a loose ball, Southview recovering. The ball carrier was Craig Seidel, could not hang on, lost it, and Southview's Stanley Robinson picking it up. Now the ball goes back to the Saints, and another opportunity with 3:05 remaining in the second quarter.
Ron, I wonder if Stanley Robinson drove the bus on the way over here. He's done everything, I think, but drive the bus. I'll have to check with Coach Schultz on that. He's been in the right spot at the right times most of the evening.
Handoff goes to Jeff Hughes. Hughes across the 40, still on his feet. He's to the mid-stripe. He's to the 45, the 40. He's got the end zone in front of him. 10, 5. He is in there from the 33-yard line. What a run. 67 yards for Jeff Hughes, and a big touchdown for the Southview
We have a penalty, Ron. We have a penalty on the far side of the
there is
field.
a flag on the
It's going to be a
Parma
clip.
42, clipping
It's going to be
call.
a clip.
Oh, wow.
Way away from the football, Ron. Had nothing to do with the play.
Absolutely nothing. Oh, that has got to make Coach Shoulders sick.
I was also going to you notice great runners, when they get free, they always work their way to the sidelines. They don't run down the center of the field. They're going to break to right or left and get to the sidelines and then straighten their course out. Right now, Ron, Southview's been their own worst enemy. Again, probably a young player's mistake.
And Lord only knows we saw enough of that last week in Amherst.
Yes, we did.
Admiral King was without a doubt its own worst enemy. I mean, I sat and watched that game once, twice, 3 times and could not get over the number of miscues, a.k.a. turnovers, that gave Amherst the possibility of scoring touchdowns, which they did.
Well, I noticed, too, Coach Jones's comments, we didn't do anything right. We kept saying, hopefully did a couple things right and build on that, and he comes out with a comment, we didn't do anything right. Also, Ron, talking about former Southview coach, the offensive coordinator is Scott Bryant, who was a star at Lorraine High, and his dad was a coach at Southview many, many years ago, Chuck Bryant.
The Boomer.
Played for Woody at Ohio State, and it's in the blood.
Ball is brought back to the Parma 40-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Saints. Jeff Hughes is at the bench because he needs a chance to catch his breath. And we're going to see, oh my goodness, we got a flag. And the ball carrier for the Saints, Terrence Beard.
Face mask? Ron, is that?
I would suspect if there was going to be a call and the flag was thrown that it would have to be face mask is the call against Parma. So that's a break for the Saints.
Ron, they don't necessarily have to have a hold of the face mask. It's any part of the helmet. So if he had a part of the top of the helmet or from behind. The other thing is it's a 15-yard penalty in high school. Ron, the field here, considering how dry it's been and Mother Nature not cooperating in the field, Kenny Clark and his crew have done a great job. His field is in excellent shape.
Absolutely. Walking on it earlier this evening, talking to Coach Shoulders, I was very impressed with the condition of the football field here at George Daniel. Jeff Hughes is back in the lineup, and the give is to Hughes. He's looking for running room, can't find it, and he may have picked up a yard on the play. Tackle made by Terry Kilpatrick.
I was talking to Coach Shoulders, and I noticed that the grass was high, and I'm sure that's because of the extreme heat we've had. I told him I thought he would have been out here with his lawnmower, getting it down to about looking like number 3 green at Fox Creek with a runner like Jeff Hughes.
And the officials are calling a timeout on the field. They no doubt are going to have a bit of a water break. We're going to keep it here and talk about Jeff Hughes. Last year, Jeff, as a sophomore, picked up 1,561 yards on 200 carries for a 7.8 average. Just a junior this year, and no doubt, if all goes well, looking forward to a great season this year and another one next year in 2002. Jeff Hughes, the ball carrier, to the 20, bulls his way out of bounds at about the 22-yard line.
Ron, I was talking to Coach Shoulders earlier this summer, and we were talking about Jeff. And last year he was having a little difficulty in class and not doing what he was supposed to do. And I think maybe he just thought they weren't going to do without him. And Coach Shoulders called him in, and he said on Thursday, he said, "Son, I'll see you on Monday at practice." "And what about the game tomorrow, Coach?" "Well, you're not even getting on the bus. We're not even going to take you to Toledo." And so Coach Shoulders set him down early and let him know this is the way it's going to be. And he's going to reap the rewards for that kind of discipline down the line.
And academics is the #1 criteria for going to school. Athletics is that fringe benefit, that bonus. The pass from Majoris, hitting and getting close to the end zone, Adam Figueroa. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Southview Saints.
Ron, that's a play where Majoris is taught to read the defender. He had 2 receivers to choose from, one to the inside, one to the outside. Where does the defender go? The other man has to be open. The linebacker just didn't get over there. So that's just strictly a read pass.
Ball just inside the 5-yard line, 1st and goal as we indicated. And you know, it takes an incident like that Tony had with a younger Jeff Hughes last year to make him realize, get your priorities together, young man. Jeff Hughes, the ball carrier, in the end zone, touchdown.
Yeah, he told me it didn't even take too long. He came Monday with a whole new attitude. And it set the other team members straight, too. If he's going to do that to our best player, what's he going to do to me?
That's right. 21-14 right now the score. And an opportunity for Josh Fossey to get the extra point that he missed last time around, making it 22-14. The holder will be Jason Messer.
Well, that safety, Ron, allowed him to come out and kick this. Had they not gotten the safety, I'm sure Coach Shoulders would have been going for 2 here.
Another low snap from center. The ball not able to go through the uprights. And again, I would say that is not necessarily Josh Fossey's problem, but a bad snap and the inability to put it down where it needs to be put down.
And I think the holder did almost all he could do to get that ball up there. It's a timing play. Fossey held back as long as he could. He just couldn't get the ball up on the tee.
Well, the Southview Saints lead by a touchdown and an extra point, 21-14, with 1 minute 35 seconds remaining in the second quarter, and we'll be back with the kickoff in a moment.
And here comes Chris Hill, 4'6" out of Jefferson Elementary, a confident young man with a great stride, but he might be in trouble now.
Hey, Chris. Want to get high? No way, man. That stuff's for losers.
Oh, what a move! Chris Hill never hesitates, just blows past that guy. Bob?
You're right, Mike. Look, Chris is known for his great head shake. Then he shifts his weight to the right foot, finds a hole, and zip, he's out of there.
Spectacular, just spectacular. This kid's got a bright future.
Fossey spotting the ball on the 40-yard line.
A couple of other experienced coaches that Coach Shoulders has is Terry Callahan, his special teams coach, who's been around, and Mark Lukasek, who coached at King many, many years ago, went to Lorraine Catholic. We used to call him Air Lukasek. He really likes to put the ball in the air. My kind of coach.
Fossey on the kickoff, a good one, and a whistle.
And it's probably going to be someone
offsides against the Saints. Jeff Hughes, we've been talking about scoring his 3rd touchdown this evening, one on a 51-yard run back in the first quarter, and then a 2.5-yard run, and now this last one, a 5-yard run. He's been compared to Admiral King's Raymond Harris as being somebody that's going to be outstanding in the annals of running backs from the city of Lorraine. It's kind of interesting to note, we talked last week at Amherst about Golden Helmet Awards in Lorain County, that Admiral King had one, Bobby Calamari and Amherst had one. Southview has yet to get a Golden Helmet Award recipient, and possibly that number 23 could be the very first one.
Well, one of the problems Southview has, Ron, is they don't play any Lorain County schools. So if the coaches are voting or however that helmet is decided, you don't have a lot of people in Lorain County being able to watch Jeff Hughes play unless they come here to see him.
Matt Boris, the ball carrier on the kickoff return, gets the ball to the 40-yard line.
And back many, many years ago when Admiral King was in the Buckeye, one of the great advantages why we had so many All-Ohio running backs is that we played in Findlay, which was covered by Toledo. We played in Marion, which was covered by Columbus. So we got a lot of press, and when it come time to vote, they had known and seen some of these kids play. Gary Patton, Eric West, John Matakovich. Those kids becoming All-Ohio because of the area that they played in.
Myers back to pass and connects. On the reception, Kevin Colasar. Tackle made by Sean Nixon. The ball out to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 5 yards on the pass play. It's 2nd down and 5.
Ron, that was a nice play by Nixon. Just make sure the tackle, don't go for the interception, don't give up the big play. Same here with this Messer kid. Just tackle him, get it. Let them beat us down the field 5 yards at a time. Don't do anything and give them a big play.
James Stringer on the reception picks up the first down for the Redmen with 1 minute remaining in the second quarter. Tackle made by Jason Messer. Ball is on the Southview 46-yard line. Redmen moving quickly as the clock was running, but the out of bounds on the pass play completed, then going out of bounds, stopping the clock.
If you notice, Southview's got their defensive backs and their linebackers backed a little further. They're going to...
Myers again passing and connecting, going out of bounds. On the reception, Frank Oridi. And again, Sean Nixon on the stop. The ball is on the 30, another 1st and 10 for the Parma Redmen.
So one of the things about statistics, they're giving up some yardage here, but Ron, they're giving it up. They're going to give them the 8, the 10 yards at a time. They still have to go 30 yards in 50 seconds.
And the Southview Saints call a timeout. And we were also talking last week in Amherst, Barry, about All-Ohio players, the number that Amherst had, and certainly Admiral King has had a substantial number of All-Ohio first-team football players. Southview has not had any yet, and here again, Jeff Hughes could very well be the first one to make a first-team All-Ohio. I mean, his statistics will have to be carried somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure they will, and part of that, Ron, is the quality of the opponents. Again, a lot of it, unfortunately, deals with press coverage, and how much press is he going to get playing in the area. I think you're right. Strictly by numbers, he's as good as anybody. Now, to compare him to Raymont, I had the fortune of being there when Raymont was at Admiral King, and Ray was a load. Ray was a big-time player. Jeff has the capabilities of being that.
And Raymont had an injured-riddled senior year, which did not help him to get the statistics to get that All-Ohio award. And a flag on the play.
I remember as a junior, Raymont was sitting behind the youngest Dunlap, and I told him I needed a linebacker. And Raymont says, I'm sorry, Coach, I don't hit people. He chose to sit his first 4 or 5 games as a junior, or maybe it was a sophomore. I needed a player, and he didn't want to play defense. He knew, he had it in his mind, he knew he was a great running back, and that's what he was going to do. It was his junior year because he had a great sophomore year on the JV team.
5-yard offside penalty against Parma brings the ball back to the 35. It's 1st and 15.
Oh, they're in a shotgun run, something you don't see many high school teams do.
Myers looking to pass. He's going to run with the ball. Gets to the 30 and out of bounds on the far side of the field.
There's probably a sophomore mistake. Number 45, Brian Joyner. I was hoping or thinking that he was to key the quarterback. Don't let him get outside of you, contain him. You're just going to mirror him, and he let him get outside a little bit, put a little pressure on the outside, but still they got 40 seconds and they've got 25 yards to go, 23 yards. So
2nd down and 3, the ball on the 23-yard line. And Myers coming here to Stringer on the near side. Stringer with only one tackler between him and the end zone, and Sean Nixon gets the job done. But a first down for Parma
And they called timeout, Ron.
They had to call timeout. 34 seconds remaining in the second quarter on the completed pass. The ball carrier did not go out of bounds.
If you notice, the defensive coordinator, Rocky Hammond's the one to go out and talk to his players. He knows best what's going on. He knows what he needs to do. Coach Shoulders is of the opinion that he turns his coaching over to his assistants. He has an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, a special teams coach, and he's out there. He has the final decision, but he's going to have the faith in what his coaches have worked on and practiced all week.
You know, Barry, I don't want to ignore the reality that once upon a time there was a Lorain Senior High School here in the city of Lorain, and we talked about Golden Helmet recipients for Admiral King and none yet for Southview. But over at Lorain High School, the last one to receive a Golden Helmet award was in 1987, Dennis Washington, a tailback. In 81, Vince Villanucci, a lineman. In 75, Virgil Williams, a halfback. In 1970, Kurt Schumacher, a fullback and a tackle who went on to play for New Orleans, the Saints, in the end zone and a touchdown. A pass from Myers to his split end, James Stringer.
Well, Ron, he only needed 1 foot down in high school, and he got one down, and if he didn't get the other one out of bounds, down in time, it doesn't matter. It's a touchdown, and once the ball breaks the plane of the end zone, it's good. Touchdown, and we have a ball game.
And one more Lorain High Senior Golden Helmet recipient, so we don't want to ignore him. 1968, Jim Svoboda, an end and a linebacker. Scott Griffith will attempt to tie up this ball game. 21-20 the score right now with 28 seconds. Good snap, kick is in the air, and it is good. And we have a tie ball game, 21-21 with 28 seconds remaining in the first half. We'll be back with the kickoff right after this timeout.
Was in another lifetime, one of toil and blood. When blackness was a virtue, the road was.
If we do not take responsibility for saving animals from extinction, we allow a part of ourselves to die with them. Help World Wildlife Fund protect animals in the places where they live by ordering a free action kit. Together, we can leave our children a living planet.
Come in, she said, I'll give ya shelter from the storm.
Ron, some of those names you mentioned, Kurt Schumacher went on to Ohio State, All-American, played for the New Orleans Saints. Dennis Washington went to Michigan. Villanucci went to Bowling Green, I believe.
Yes.
Some of those were some great players. I remember being in Lorain and coaching against some of those guys, and quite some football players.
And the squibbler off the fingertips of Sean Nixon, but he grabs it at the 30. With 25 seconds remaining in the first half, the Southview Saints will have 25 seconds to possibly put additional points on the board.
Ron, a lot of teams might just look at this and say, let's get out of this. I'm Coach Shoulders. I'm going to hand the ball to Jeff Hughes, and maybe he can break one. It may look like we're not going to do much with it, but we're just going to hand it to him. He could possibly snap one off here and give him a quick touchdown. So let's see what they do. Southview will get the ball in the second half.
Yes, they will get the second half opening kickoff. Robinson in motion. Majoris looking to pass. He's going to hold on to the ball. He's knocked out of bounds. 19 seconds with the clock stopped, and a loss on the play. Making the stop, Darrell Michaels for the Redmen. And sometime during the second half, Barry, I want to give credit to the football players from Lorain Senior who made All-Ohio, and there were quite a few of those.
Yeah, Ron, one of the things we want to talk about in the second half is Southview has a female player.
Yes.
And I have an article here about the first female to play Division I, to score in a Division I game, and we'll talk about that.
All right, second half action, plus all of this fascinating information. And Majoris takes the knee to run out the clock. And that's the end of the first half of play as soon as the clock runs down. With the score, 21 for the Southview Saints, 21 for the Parma Redmen. And until that clock runs off, the players maintain their position on the field, and that's the end. And we'll Be back with some Southview Saints marching band activity here at George Daniel Field right after this timeout. And also we'll have the start of the second half.
Hello, my name's Penny. I think people shouldn't do drugs. They can make you forget things, like which animals have stripes. And your body might get clumsier, so you can't jump rope as good. Drugs can get you in big trouble. You could go to principal's office or go to jail. Then you can't watch TV or eat pizza. Recess is good. Hamsters are good. Birthday parties are real good. Drugs are bad. I wouldn't do drugs.
leave you for someone younger. They won't notice you've gained weight. They won't fire you. They won't talk about you behind your back. All they'll ever do is love you. Find the love of your life. Visit Petfinder at aspca.org.
Second half action about ready to get underway here at George Daniels Stadium. And at the end of the first half, a bit of a wind kicked up here at the stadium and a few raindrops right now in the stands. Some of the folks have their umbrellas wide open, so there must be some raindrops falling.
That's why I'm surprised, Ron, that Southview gets the choice of receiving the ball. Parma has the choice of defending which goal. I'm surprised that they would not take the wind in the fourth quarter, knowing it's going to probably be a close game. Southview's going to get the ball and the wind. Is kind of surprising there if that would happen.
Scott Griffith on the kickoff. Taking on the 10-yard line. Right up the middle. And moving, Stanley Robinson gets to the mid-stripe.
There's another surprise, Ron. Parma played it close to the vest. They punted the ball away from him. They squib kicked it. Just what we talked about. He was one step away from taking it all the way, and Southview's got great field position. I just wonder why they would have done that.
If you're just joining us, the score is all knotted up at 21-21. Parma the first to get on the scoreboard with a 5-yard run by Craig Seidel and a Scott Griffith extra point kick. Then Southview tied it up with Jeff Hughes going 51 yards and a Josh Fossey extra point. The give is to Jeff Hughes. Hughes gets a couple of yards on the play. Tackle made by Matt Boris. No doubt you can hear the wind somewhat. Ball is on the 48-yard line, pickup of 2, second down and 8. Parma then went ahead at the end of the first quarter, 14-7, on a Jake Normile 19-yard run and a Scott Griffith extra point. So it was 14-7 at the end of the first quarter. The give again to Jeff Hughes, across the 45, the 40, 35, 30. He's on the move and out of bounds, they're going to say, at the 20-yard line, just inside the 20. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Southview Saints on the Parma 20-yard line.
Ron, just as we had talked to in the first half, the great block by Robinson, Stanley Robinson in the first half, he got a great block from the sophomore Marquel Miller, split end. Not a devastating block, not a crushing block, but he got down, got a piece of him, allowed Jeffrey to get outside and turn the corner. It's one-on-one against the defensive back.
Jeff Hughes, the ball carrier, looking for running room. Parma keying on him, picks up maybe a yard or two. It'll be second down, a gain of a yard, second down and 9. In the second quarter, Jeff Hughes on a 2.5-yard run. The extra point attempt no good. It was 13-14, Parma on top. And then a 2-point safety as a bad snap over the Parma punter's head, and he kicked it out of the end zone. Southview went ahead 15-14. Then Jeff Hughes on a 5-yard run with the extra point no good, 21-14 Southview. Parma tied it up with a Myers to Jake Stringer 32-yard pass and a Scott Griffith extra point made it 21-21. And we might point out the third of 3 touchdowns scored by Jeff Hughes in the first half. A 67-yard run into the end zone was negated by a clipping call against the Southview Saints. So if you missed the action the first time around, just a reminder, you can see this game each and every day at 3 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. on TV 20. Second down and 4 for the Southview Saints. Robinson in motion. The pitch goes to Robinson. Hughes leading the blocking, and the ball inside the 10-yard line. Should be enough for a first down. And it is. It's going to be first and goal for the Southview Saints.
Ron, we need to take a moment at this time and thank Ray Ebersol for having some refreshments up here and providing anything that we need. Ray's the athletic director, and I'd like to take a moment to thank him for that.
Well, each and every week we thank Ray, needless to say. The first time since I've been involved with Lorraine City sports, and that goes back to 1961. Jeff Hughes, the ball carrier, up to the 5-yard line on the first and goal. Craig Seidel making the tackle. The ball's going to be spotted just shy of the 5. They're putting it on the 6. It's going to be second and goal from the 6. But as I was saying, we've been involved in sports here in the Lorraine City school system since 1961, and just about every game here at George Daniel Stadium. And it wasn't until Ray Ebersol became athletic director that refreshments have been provided for the media, visiting coaches, and that's a first-class act. Jeff Hughes, the ball carrier, up the middle, across the 5-yard line. It'll be third down and goal. The ball just inside the 5.
He had some pretty tough competition tonight, though, Ron. Whittier had meet the team night tonight. The kids' parents got in free. They had a cookout, meet the coaches. They had some little better food than Ray was able to provide. He couldn't understand why no one was eating his pizza. Next week, Ray.
On the pass play, in the end zone, touchdown. Jason Messer getting that pass from quarterback Mark Majoris.
There's a case, Ron, where, Parma's looking at Jeff Hughes. He's going to touch the ball some way. And Majoris just rolled to the left and found Jason Messer wide open in the end zone. Put it up there where only he could get a hold of it. Well-thrown ball. Good call by the Southview coaching staff.
On the extra point attempt, better snap from center. Kick is in the air, and it is good. And with 8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play, it's Southview 28, Parma 21. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment.
Your one-stop place for something really special is Impressions, corner of Oberlin Avenue and Tower Boulevard. T-shirts and sweatshirts personally designed to your specific needs. Anything from bears, trains to zebras, and specially designed hats as well. And don't forget Impressions, your one-stop spot for school jackets. See Dave, the designer expert at Impressions, Oberlin Avenue at Tower Boulevard, right here in Lorraine.
Ron, we had mentioned earlier, Southview has a girl on the roster, Alicia Reyes. That's probably a first for Lorraine City Schools. Wide receiver and defensive back as a junior.
Fosse on the kickoff, a high kick. Taken on the 15-yard line, and it's Jake Stringer. Make that James Stringer. Tackle made by Ferris Stevens, and Parma will take over first and 10, the ball on their own 33-yard line.
Ron, one of the things I noticed that Southview does on their kickoff teams is they play a lot of their kids who aren't starters, and it does two things. It gives some kids some playing time and some experience, and it gives your two-way players a chance to get a couple-minute rest. Another good move by Coach Shoulders and his staff.
Little movement by the defense, but did not cross into the neutral zone. Running play by the Redman, the ball carrier. The tailback, Jake Normile. Tackle made by Adele Velez. The ball spotted just inside the 35-yard line. A pickup of a yard, second down and 9.
Ron, I would believe that Parma's going to have to take advantage of this wind at their backs. It's going to be a little tough to throw the football in the fourth quarter going into this strong wind.
Myers, the quarterback, hands it off. Going through the left side of the line, across the 40-yard line. Ball carrier again, the tailback, Jake Normile. Ball on the 41. Pickup of 6 yards on the play, third down and 3.
I just watched Coach Hammond signal in his defensive call to Ronnie Soto, the inside linebacker, who then relays it to the defense. Oh, trips to the left side.
The give this time to Craig Seidel. Seidel gets the ball to the 46-yard line and a first down. Eric Jimenez making the tackle.
Came up holding the football, trying to convince the official that it was Southview ball, but the ball had already been blown dead.
1st and 10 from the 46. The give is to Jake Normile. Normile gets it up close to the mid-stripe before being brought down by a host of Southview tacklers. Leading the charge, Tony Rodriguez, the big 260-pound tackle.
Ryan, noticed on our last break that they had a couple of trainers and coaches over there looking at Jeff Hughes' hand, retaping it. I don't know if it's getting worse as the game goes on, but he's out there playing defense.
They've got the ball on the 48, 2nd down and 8, gain of 2 on the last play. 6 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Clock continues to run. Myers back to pass, and he can't find a receiver. He's going to be thrown for a loss. Eric Jimenez making the tackle. Key play by the Southview Saints, putting the Parma Redmen back to their own 42-yard line. Loss of about 3 yards on the play. It's going to, or 5 yards. It's now 3rd down and 13.
I think that was the case where Coach Hammond decided to change things up a little bit and maybe send a linebacker after this quarterback, see if they can't get him out of that pocket, and they got a hold of him pretty quick. So it's a big play for the Saints. They need one big stop here, Ron.
Big offensive play for the Redmen and a bigger one for the Saints. Stop this drive. Pass into the flats on the far side. And out of bounds, shy of the first down. The pass going to Kevin Colasar.
Ron, that was just a quick pass to the wide receiver or the flanker, and hoping that the other wide receiver can help him and pick up a block. It's 4th down. Looks like they're changing.
Scott Griffith, the punter, is now in the ball game. It's 4th down and 2. The ball on the Southview Saints 46-yard line.
I'm sure Tony Shoulders right now is yelling out, watch the fake, watch the fake. The same formation they faked before. 2 wide receivers to the left.
And this time the punt is made, and it lands on the 10. And it's going to go out of bounds on about the 1-yard line. Wow! That really put Southview deep in their own territory. Excellent punt and a roll by the Redmen.
Ron, when you only put one receiver back there, it makes it a little easier for the kicking team to find the sidelines and kick it away from Jeff.
And that they did, without a doubt.
Quick kick, and they got it over his head. Jeffrey was, if it's over his head at the 10, he's taught to let it go. And, one more foot, it rolls into the end zone. It's on the 20. The ball rolls out of bounds. It's 1st and 10 on the 1. Look for Southview just to get Jeffrey the ball and get it out into where they can do something with it.
99 yards to pay dirt and plenty of time to do it. Robinson in motion. The give is to Jeff Hughes. Hughes gets across the 5-yard line, giving the Saints additional breathing room.
He could be close to a first down, Ron. Oh, he's got 2nd and 4. Again, he was a step or 2 from breaking that one. Anytime he gets his hands on the ball, it could be
oh yes,
lights out.
Gain of 6 yards on the play. The ball is on the 7-yard line, 2nd down and 4.
He would go in the record books if he'd run that one back. He can't get any longer than 99. He would at least tie the record.
Pitch again to Jeff Hughes, coming over to the near side, looking for running room. Got the first down, still on his feet, and finally out of bounds, and he is limping. He is limping. It is his left calf.
That's a cramp, Ron. He's got
That's
a cramp.
That's a Charlie horse. And I've had that in high school football. Oh, my goodness.
One of the things you have to worry about when it's warm weather like this is the kids cramping up, not getting enough salt, not getting enough water.
I remember Bill Cosby talking about in one of his comedy sketches, the pain that a woman goes through when she goes through labor pains. It's like taking your lower lip and pulling it over your head. Charlie Horse is pretty close to that.
Cramps, they hurt. They're not serious, but they sure hurt.
And they're working on his leg right now. The pitch goes to Williams. Williams coming over to the near side, knocked out of bounds.
Ron, Southview continues to get some excellent blocks from their wide receivers. Jason Messer right there turned his man inside and allowed the ball carrier to get, even though it was the short side, he allowed him to get outside and gain 5 yards. And with gains like that, you're going to go down the field. Southview's now put the ball almost to their 40 in about 3 or 4 plays. So
2nd and 5 for the Southview Saints. Hughes is back up on his feet now, working that Charlie Horse or that cramp out. Running the far side and out of bounds at the 40-yard line, Terrence Beard.
Again, one of the prices you pay, Ron, for having a two-way player. Jeff's playing defense, running the ball 25, 30 times a game. He's got to be in great condition, but in this warm weather.
Gain of 2 yards, 3rd down, and a short 3. The ball is on the 40.
Unlike last week, Ron, where it was extremely warm in the Amherst-King game, it's a little cooler tonight. The referees don't need to stop the game and water the kids as they have the right to do in Ohio high school football. Usually when that flag comes, that's a delay of the game.
That's exactly what it is. Delay a game on a 3rd down situation. 3rd down and a short 3. Now it's going to be 3rd down and a short 8.
That's that man's job, is to keep track of the time. And when he throws that flag, you can almost bet it's delay a game.
Jeff Hughes is back in the lineup now.
That's a big penalty, Ron. It puts him in a long play situation where 3 yards, you could almost bet that Jeff could get that. Or Terrence Beard.
Well, we'll see what happens on this one. Robinson in motion. And it's Majoris passing over to the near side and out of the hands of his intended receiver.
That's Marquell
Miller.
A sophomore, Ron. He's gonna be I think he's gonna be a good one. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of raw natural ability. That was a spot play. Majoris just threw that ball to a spot and hoped that Miller's a basketball player. He's got good leaping ability. Hope that he can get up and get that. It's going to be a tough punt into the wind.
Josh Fossey will be doing the punting from his 25-yard line. Snap brought down, low kick. Lands on the 39, and it's going to be downed on the 38 by Sean Nixon. The Redmen will take over 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line. We were talking about the Lorraine Steelmen who made All-Ohio first team in football. The last one to do so was Don Yurkovich in 1980. Brad Mullins in 1978. Stan Neese in 74. Kurt Schumacher in 1970. Jim Swoboda in 68. Ray Martin in 59. George Ballou in 1956 will continue right after this play. Myers hands off to his tailback, Normile, and Normile picks up a lot of yardage. The 218-pound senior gets the ball into Southview territory. It's going to be 1st and 10. The ball on the 39-yard line.
Ron, that was a counter. That's one way to slow down the quick pursuit of the Saints, is to go the opposite direction.
In 1953, Bill Van Buren. In 1952, Jim Dick. And the last one to make All-Ohio, or the first one, I should say, in 1944, Howard Jesko.
Ron, I'm just reading here an article from Jacksonville, Alabama. Ashley Martin became the first woman to play and score in a Division I football game Thursday night, kicking 3 extra points.
And that's got to be a great treat for her, and all womanhood.
And I read here, and it says she came to the sideline. She was greeted by teammates and coaches who patted her on the helmet.
Tim Barris, the last ball carrier for the Redmen, picked up 3 yards at 2nd down and 7 from the Southview 35-yard line. And some movement on the line.
That's going to be against Parma.
Justin Beats moved, as well as one of the Southview Saints defensive linemen.
Now they're deciding whether Southview was in the neutral zone first, or they're going to call the motion on Parma.
All right, illegal procedure against Parma brings the ball back 5 yards. It's now on the Southview Saints 41, where it's going to be 2nd and 11.
As we alluded to in the first half, once you step in that neutral zone, the ball is immediately dead. Had the Southview player stepped in first before the Parma person moved, it would have been offsides against Southview.
Coming in motion, Sean Frontino. Marquel Miller making the tackle on Jake Normile. The ball is on the 34-yard line. A gain of 6 yards on the play. It's 3rd down and 5.
Again, Ron, you may see the Parma wide receiver pointing to the official. He's just basically asking him if he's okay. He's up on the line of scrimmage.
James Stringer, the player you're referring to, wide receiver. And we have a timeout on the field. Timeout being called by the Parma Redmen with 1 minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. Southview Saints on top, 28-21. We'll be back in a moment.
Take a water sample, try and take it down low, take these back to the classroom.
You know, most tornadoes go southwest.
Can you name one thing that we do in caring for the guinea pig to make
the child you interest in science today?
Take a look at this cell right here. What do you think?
Everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine.
May save your life or your world tomorrow.
That penalty was, Parma was without a tackle, so they had to hurry up and call timeout to keep from getting a penalty.
Myers hands off to Normile. Normile with running room comes over to the near side, gets inside the 30-yard line, picks up a 1st down for the Redmen. They'll spot the ball on the 28. Jason Messer making the out-of-bounds stop.
As we talked about last week in Amherst, one of the things that Admiral King had is
but we do have a flag. There is a penalty, and it's going to be against the Redmen. All right.
We talked about a number of two-way players. Southview has the same situation. We keep mentioning the same names on both sides of the football. Eventually, that's going to the kid's going to wear down one side or the other.
And this is going to be a big one. Brings the ball back to the 43-yard line. Instead of a 1st down for the Redmen, it's now 3rd down and 12.
Didn't see a signal, Ron, as to what the penalty was. Our TV cameraman says it was holding.
On the pass play, Myers looking to pass. He's being chased, gets the ball loose, and in and out of the grasp of his intended receiver, Kevin Colasar. It'll be 4th and 12.
Ron, I think originally that play was designed to be a screen pass. You saw a lot of Southview people got through, and that many get through free. That usually means they're let through. And it was a screen. I think one of the linebackers was in the middle. So the intended receiver just dropped a little deeper and got behind the defenders, just didn't hold on to the football. Once again, Ron, the penalties and the miscues are hurting both sides.
Scott Griffith back to punt. He is inside his 50. Short punt, but takes a good Parma roll, and it's going to be downed again at about the 1-yard line.
Ron, they had Marquel Miller on the short side, on the left hash mark, that gave that punter 2/3 of that field to kick the ball, and all he's got to do is get it over the lineman's head and hope that it rolls in the right direction, and that's exactly what happened again. There wasn't a Southview Saint within 15 yards of that football.
And like you said, it happened again. The second time around, Southview takes over possession from their own 1-yard line. 99 big ones to go. 38 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
You know, I think Coach Shoulders is a little afraid of that fake, and so he's gonna allow that to happen.
I guess better safe than sorry. Jeff Hughes, the ball carrier, picks up a yard or two.
Well, another advantage coming here. If Southview has to punt the football, we're going to change the sides of the field here, and Fossey's going to get the advantage of having the wind.
Marquell Miller comes into the lineup for the Southview Saints.
You know, another problem you have, Ron, and as a coach who's done this for a few seasons, playing a team for the very first time, especially playing early in the season, you only get a chance to look at them once.
And that's the end of the third quarter of play before the play got underway. And they'll come down to the north end of George Daniels Stadium. So at the end of 3 quarters of play, it's the Southview Saints leading by 7 over the Parma Redmen, 28-21. We'll be back with that play right after this timeout. Since 1921, your hometown financial professionals at First Federal Savings of Lorain have dedicated themselves to meeting the financial needs of their customers and surrounding communities. They offer a wide variety of financial investments as well as home mortgages to meet your every need. Loans on boats, cars, mobile homes, and other worthwhile purchases are also available. Whatever your financial need, First Federal Savings of Lorain is ready to help. 7 convenient locations to serve you in Lorain, Huron, Sandusky, Port Clinton, and now at 36690 Detroit Road in Avon. First Federal Savings of Lorain is an equal housing lender and FDIC insured.
You know, Ron, if Southview's got a play in their book where they can run the ball away from Jeff Hughes, a counter of some sort, having him go one way, because I guarantee 11 white jerseys are going in the direction he goes.
And the give is to Jeff Hughes. He's tripped up after a pickup of maybe a yard or two. It'll be third down.
I'm not so sure the wind's going to affect Coach Shoulders' game plan to hand the ball from Majoris to Jeff Hughes. I don't see him having to put the ball in the air.
Jason Messer now coming in the lineup for the Southview Saints.
He's got to kind of hurry because the whistle was blown before Jason even got on the field.
Third down and 8. Jeff Hughes, the ball carrier, gets up close to the 5-yard line.
Ron, I'm not so sure they had to send a player in with that play. We could have called that one from here.
4th and 6, punting situation. In the end zone will go Josh Fossey. And like you say, fortunately, he'll have the wind at his back.
And some difference in night and day between the first half and the second as far as wind conditions and temperatures. Perfect temperature to play football right now, Ron.
Deep receivers for the Redmen back on the Southview 40-yard line. Good snap and a good punt. Taken on the 40 and dropped. But the Parma Redmen hang on.
See, Ron, there's the difference. Parma had 2 guys back, so Fossey's got nowhere to kick the ball away from him. The kid caught the ball. If he catches that ball clean on the 40, they got pretty good field position. No chance to get a 30 or 40-yard roll there.
Frank O'Reedy was the one who snagged it initially on the 40 and then lost it, but managed to land on it. 1st and 10 for the Parma Redmen. They are on the Southview 37-yard line. Excellent field position early here in the 4th and final quarter. Pitch goes to Normile, almost tripped up in the backfield by Robinson, but he is going to lose yardage, at least a yard on the play. We'll see where they spot the ball. Tackle made by Matt Vimpenny.
Ron, that's a situation where Matt Vimpenny's going to get credit for making that tackle, but that was made possible by Stanley Robinson not allowing that kid to get outside of him and turning him inside for the linebackers and the down pursuit linemen to get after him.
And there's a flag on the far side of the field, and they're talking
Parma's
to
backing up.
Southview. I believe the initial call by the official was grabbing the face mask against Parma. That's the indication. 5-yard penalty brings the ball back to the Southview Saints 43-yard line, where it's now going to be first down and 16.
That might be a case, Ron, where he was stiff-arming, putting his arm out to keep the defender off and just got his hand tangled up in the mask.
In the shotgun.
There's the counter.
Myers hands it off to Normile. Normile trying to find running room. Can't find it. He's knocked out of bounds on the far side at the 40-yard line. Ronnie Soto and Marquel Miller making the stop, and they'll spot the ball just inside the 40. It'll be second down and 13. Myers to pass, and the ball is knocked, but then grabbed, and we'll see how the officials rule this one. James Stringer. Sean Nixon covering on that pass play. Nixon had his hand on the ball, and they're going to claim that James Stringer managed to get it as it was falling to the ground. Wow, what a play.
Ron, we've mentioned Stanley Robinson doing a lot of things for Southview. This Stringer kid has been all over the place too for Parma. This number 14 has been announced quite a bit. We don't have the advantage of replay or in high school football, but from here it looked like he caught the ball before he hit the ground.
Or even if he was on the ground and got the ball before the ball touched the ground, it would be a reception. Anyway, it's a 1st and 10 on the Southview 20, and an incomplete pass by the Redmen will make it now 2nd and 10.
And as a former defensive back coach, I would just be congratulating Sean Nixon. He did everything he was supposed to do. He was there. He found the ball. He tipped it. That's just a great play on the part of the Stringer kid from Parma, but that was a great defensive play. One-on-one, Nixon held his own. He did everything he was supposed to do.
And you could also add great concentration on the part of Stringer to be able to follow that ball down and grab it and hang on to it. Stringer is now split wide to the right on the far side. In motion is Sean Frontino. And the give is to Normile. Normile looking for running room far side. Still on his feet. Finally brought down and out of bounds.
Ron, they put number 85, Sean Frontino, in motion. His job was just to turn the corner, seal off the inside linebacker, which he did, and the ball carrier was able to get outside. It was a well-designed play by Parma.
And it's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Redmen. The ball is on the Southview Saints 10-yard line, just over the 10.
This may be a game, Ron, whoever gets the ball last.
Well, they're saying it's right on the 10, so it's 1st and goal. Normile again, the ball carrier, gets inside the 10 before being tackled by Brian Joyner.
Another one of those young kids. He's a sophomore, basketball player. Tony's got a lot of athletes out there, kids playing different sports. Jeff Hughes, a basketball player. I know Marquel Miller's a basketball player. Nixon's a basketball player. So a lot of Al McConaughey's players are out here playing football.
Gain of a yard on the play, 2nd and goal from the 9. Meyer pitches back to Normile. Normile hit initially in the backfield, and he is brought down. Maybe no gain on that play. It'll be 3rd and goal. And you know, Barry, that's the way it used to always be. Kids would participate in all the sports. Football in the fall, basketball or wrestling in the winter, and baseball or track.
Well,
in
I know
the spring.
Coach Provident, having worked for him, I know he was a big proponent of kids playing other sports. He wanted to see his tackles wrestle. He wanted to see kids running track. And if you weren't playing another sport, then your butt was in the weight room. But another sport was good.
Myers coming to the near side, rolling out. He's going to pass in the end zone. Again, James Stringer, and it's a touchdown. And they're indicating the Southview Saints that he crossed the line of scrimmage when he passed that. Adele Velez is conversing with the official, and Coach Tony Shoulders is livid about that situation. In fact, he kicks the 20-yard marker.
That's kind of interesting because I asked him before the game if he's not a coordinator other than maybe getting excited, what does he do on the sidelines? And
well, we're just an extra point away from tying up this ball game at 28-28. Scott Griffith will attempt the extra point. Good snap, ball's down in the air, and it's good. With 7:26 remaining in the ball game, we're all knotted up at 28-28. We'll be back with the kickoff right after this timeout.
They came from every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines, a tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still, they come. Celebrate the 225-year history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Ron, I noticed that Coach Shoulders kind of nudged that 20-yard line marker down there. If you look down on the field, you'll see white stripes that stop at the 25. That's really all the further coaches and players are allowed to go. So Tony was kind of lost his bearings there, and that 20-yard marker got in his way. I see he's got one of his students putting it back.
On the kickoff, it lands on the 27-yard line, picked up by the Saints and bowled across the 30, where Southview will take over now 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line.
Ron, I got to believe if you ask Coach Shoulders before the game started if he scores 28, how happy is he going to be? I would think that he would believe that 28 would have been enough to beat this Parma team. But they've hung in there, and it's just been like a heavyweight fight. It's just punch to punch to punch, and we're going to see who's standing last.
Well, the 8 points that or the 28 that Parma has scored thus far is 8 more than they scored last week, and the 28 that Southview scored is 21 more than they scored last week. Give to Jeff Hughes, and he is tackled from behind at the 30-yard line by Tim Barris. There's going to be a loss of a yard on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 11, the ball just over the 30-yard line.
Ron, you do know that we have overtime in high school football.
Yes, we do.
They do it a little differently, but each team gets a chance, and they start from the 20-yard line, and we could be in for an overtime game here.
Sure glad our producer, director, and cameraman, Joe Bach, has put in a 3-hour tape just in case. Robinson in motion.
He was shaking his head no, but I don't know if there was a beat over there or why he was shaking his head no when I mentioned overtime. But
incomplete pass in the flats from Majoris to Robinson. Couldn't quite hang on, but he was covered closely. It'll be 3rd and 11.
One of the most exciting games I was ever involved in as a coach was in Fremont. We went to double overtime and had the fortune of beating them down there, but that's quite exciting. Overtime is with the computer points and the playoff system, they needed a way to eliminate the ties, and they've gone to the playoff system, overtime system in high school football.
Big 3rd down play for the Saints. Majoris trying to pass, and a loose ball. Jeff Hughes grabs it. He tried to underhand it, got away, and it was Tim Barris covering on the play for the Redmen.
I got to believe someone missed an assignment there, and he had a pretty good beat on Majoris. And
it'll be another punting situation for Josh Fossey. The ball is on the 22-yard line. Fossey standing on his 11. Good snap, but he can't handle it. Picks it up, puts the foot to it, and an excellent spiral kick. It lands on the 35, takes a beautiful Southview bounce, and it will be down on the Parma 15-yard line. What a break for the Saints, and a great recovery and great punt by Josh Fossey.
You think if we ask Coach Shoulders, he'll tell us that it was in his plans to throw off the Parma defense by dropping it and having him kick it like that?
I doubt that very much.
I don't know. Tony might tell us he had that all the way. I think I just saw another hair turn gray there, Ron. Tony's walked about 6 miles in this game. He's been up and down. I noticed his headset's gone now. So I think
that's how he can keep that slim figure of
I think
his.
He's starting to coach now.
Yeah. Little gain on the play by Normile. The tailback for the Parma Redmen, Jake Normile, picks up about a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd down and a long 9.
I'm sure Parma had visions of having that ball inside the 50 again, Ron, and playing short field. And Fossey got that. 2 things happened. He got it up in the wind and he got it spiraling. And once you get it spiraling, the wind will take it a long way.
And it had the great bounce, too. It took the Southview roll. Myers pass. The intended receiver, James Stringer, well out of his reach, going out of bounds. On the incomplete pass, 3rd down and a long 9.
I remember this winter I was at Keystone going to referee a basketball game, and I saw my longtime friend John Altonen, who used to coach at King and was the head football coach out there. And he asked me what I knew about that ball that bounced straight. He was referring to the basketball. He said, "What do you know about a ball that bounces straight back from where you dropped it?" People got a big kick out of that.
Well, speaking of big, this is going to be a big one for the Parma Redmen if they don't want to give the ball up. And here's a situation where their punter will be punting into the wind. Myers back to pass again, looking for a receiver, almost brought down, still looking, and intercepted by the Southview Saints, and it was Ronnie Soto. What a gigantic play by that young man, Ronnie Soto.
That's a great play.
Either he is injured or overcome with emotion.
They called it incomplete.
They did.
They called the pass incomplete.
Oh my, trapped it on the ground.
That was a great play. They stepped inside, he stepped right. That was a completion all the way, and he stepped right in front. I thought he had it, Ron. We were both excited, and evidently they saw something we didn't. And
I didn't have the binoculars on it.
But they're still going to get the ball. I noticed Southview's put 2 kids back. Now, Ron, they must be listening to us.
Jeff Hughes is one of the deep receivers, and they're kicking away from Hughes. And it's almost, well, it was fumbled and then picked up by Adel Velez. Adel Velez and Jeff Hughes were the deep receivers. Velez managed to recover his fumble.
I just saw Tony wiping his brow, shaking his head. I think Tony's going to be eligible for Social Security at the time this game's over. I think he's going to be 65.
He was going to walk towards Velez and I better not. Keep my cool.
One of the things you got to tell those kids, Ron, is to fair catch that ball. We don't want you running it. We don't want you getting knocked down. Just catch the ball in the air, keep it from bouncing, fair catch it, and we got the ball inside their territory.
From the Parma 43-yard line, 1st and 10. Robinson in motion to give to Hughes. Hughes breaking in the open. He is still on his feet. He is going into the end zone. He's to the 5. He's in the end zone. And a big one by Jeff Hughes from the 43-yard line. Oh, my goodness.
Ron, he was hit twice. Stuck pretty good the second time. Kept his balance, kept his feet moving, broke it. Once he gets to the outside.
Oh my.
I mean, a great run and run, and now he's running against a team that knows he's going to get the football. All 11 guys are looking for him. He just makes things happen.
Jason Messer will be doing the holding. Josh Fossey on the extra point attempt, and it is blocked. They are just not having any luck on the extra point attempt. Well, with 4 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in the ball game, Southview again taking the lead. It's 34-28. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment.
Don't you have some math to do?
In a minute.
Why wait?
Math helps us analyze data, track patterns.
Invest in our future.
And algebra gives us a way to make sense of information.
To solve problems. Using geometry, we can design anything.
It's so cool. We can change things.
Make better things. Invent new things.
Started on your math yet?
Yeah. Do math, and you can do anything.
There's the kickoff by Josh Fossey with the wind behind him, picked up at the 10-yard line on the far side of the field, bringing the ball up for the Redmen, Kevin Colasar. And Colasar finally brought down at about the 34-yard line. They're saying a loose ball, and Tony Shoulders is saying, hey, it belongs to us. We'll see what the officials say. I doubt it. Tony's not too happy about that.
Ron, by our count, Jeff Hughes has got to have over 200 yards just in touchdown runs.
Well, he would.
We've been told 260 for the game.
260 yards total for the game. Wow. That's fantastic. See, it's that kind of thing, if it continues on a week-to-week basis, plus a senior year, that's got to get him that golden helmet and obviously first team All-Ohio. But it's up to the young man. Academics first, football second.
You had alluded earlier to Raymond Harris, him being compared to Raymond, and Raymond having a disastrous senior year. I remember Ray missing his first 3 games and then coming back and having over 300 yards against Lorraine High, and then broke his collarbone the week following against Elyria.
Gain of 9 yards on the play. It's 2nd down and 1 for the Redmen. The give is to Jake Normile. Normile picks up the first down, gets the ball up close to the mid-stripe. They'll spot it on the 49.
There was that counter again, Ron. At Southview, Rocky's got to get his players just slowing down a step, just reading the football, trying to contain them. Don't let them get the big play. They got to go 50 yards in 4 minutes. Just got to slow down and get to the right spots.
1st and 10 from the Redmen's 49-yard line. Clock running with under 3 minutes and 50 seconds. The pass is to James Springer, and a pass.
You're going to see interference. You're going to see interference on Parma. I believe you're going to see an illegal pick.
Well, the officials are sorting it out. Yes, indeed.
Ron, when they scored the touchdown in the north end earlier, and you were saying that Tony Shoulders was complaining about him being over the line of scrimmage, I think the defensive back was complaining the same thing, that he was screened. He was illegally picked by the receiver coming inside and not allowing him to play defense, and they finally got caught there. That's how he got so wide open.
All right, and the loss of down. It's 2nd and 10. Well, let's make that 2nd and 15. Well, they haven't even spotted the ball yet. All right, now they're going to march off the penalty.
15 yards.
15 yards. That'll bring the ball back to inside the 35-yard line.
I think that's just what the doctor ordered there, Ron. Big play for Southview.
And a loss of down, so it's 2nd down and 25 big ones for the Parma Redmen. Myers back to pass. He's being chased and brought down. Wow! On the 20-yard line. Tackle made by Matt Vimpenny. Holy mackerel.
I was just about to say, Ron, I noticed that Southview had their...
All right, the ball, well...
Oh, personal foul against Southview.
Flag and a personal foul against Southview. Oh, my.
That could be 15 yards. An automatic first down. Had to be something with the quarterback. Either they shoved him down, or once they had him down, they pushed their hands on him to get up. Very, very costly penalty. That's 15 yards. And this is one of the things that Tony Shoulders is trying to overcome, is the idea of just getting these penalties, senseless penalties.
Well, unfortunately for the 15-yard penalty against the Saints, but fortunately it's not a first down. It's still 3rd down and 21. Myers back to pass, looking for a receiver. Right up the middle, connects with Jake Normile. Normile's going to be shy of a first down, gets the ball into Southview territory. They'll put it on the 47-yard line. It'll be 4th down.
What helped Southview on that penalty, Ron, was the fact that it was a spot foul, so it happened after the sack, so they probably had about a 12 or 14-yard sack, kind of brought the ball back to the line of scrimmage.
We have a timeout on the field. The Saints calling timeout with 3 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the ball game. The Saints leading 34-28. We'll be back right after this timeout.
So you mean I could have
diabetes and not even know it?
Well, then why would I want to know? Heart disease, amputations, stroke, blindness can all be caused by diabetes. But with early detection and treatment, diabetes can be kept under control. So it's critical that you know. I didn't know.
Didn't know. Didn't know.
I didn't know. Find out if you're at risk and what to do. Don't be blind to diabetes. Call 1-800-DIABETES now.
Big 4th down play for the Parma Redmen. Obviously, they're going to go for it. And this will put Southview's defense to the test. Myers back to pass. Over to the far side. Gets his man, and enough for the first down inside the 40-yard line.
Ron, as I look out over the crowd, I see another, you're talking about Lorraine High, I see an old coach and longtime supporter of athletics, Roger Farr. I believe he's...
and his lovely wife, Becky.
And I think he's an uncle to the Fossey boy, the kicker. I think that's his nephew.
Ball inside the 40, 1st and 10 for the Redmen. Under 3 minutes. Clock continues to run. Normile, the tailback, the big guy, gets across the 30-yard line or up close to it. Close to another first down. Adele Velez making the tackle.
You know, last week we mentioned a couple of names a lot. It seems like we've mentioned this Velez kid quite a bit this evening for the Southview Saints.
Normile picked up, in fact, the first down for the Redmen. Now inside the 30, 1st and 10. Normile again's the ball carrier. He's on the loose, far side, breaks across the 20-yard line, picks up another first down for Parma. Knocked out of bounds, and the clock is now stopped with 2 minutes and 31 seconds. 1st and 10, the ball on the 17-yard line.
Ron, how big is that missed point? Missed extra point Southview on the last touchdown.
Well, actually, they've missed 3 thus far. 3 extra points.
Here's that counter. This time Southview stayed at home. Inside linebacker Ronnie Soto read it, stayed home, made the initial contact in the backfield, kept it to a small gain. And more importantly, Ron, they kept him inbounds. The clock is running.
Ball is right on the 15-yard line. 2nd down and 8. Under 2 minutes now. Myers pitches to Normile. Normile on the far side. He is knocked out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 1:46.
Ron, it seems every time they put that tight end, he steps back, he becomes a flanker, he goes in motion. And that's at least 3 or 4 times they've done that, and every time they've run the same play. Southview's going to have to read that and maybe shoot a linebacker from the backside.
Ball is on the 8-yard line. 3rd down. Long yard to go, and Normile hit in the backfield. Wow, what a play. Kyle Ramirez charging in for the Southview Saints.
I can hear his dad now.
I need to make one small correction. That was Craig Seidel, the fullback, that got hammered by Ramirez. And with 1:22 remaining in the ball game, the clock is running and the officials have called a timeout. 1:19 remaining now in the ball game, and we have a 4th down for the Parma Redmen. The ball just inside the 10. We'll be back in a moment.
To care is to help the people in the time of need. They also have dreams, just like we do. If no one would be there to take care of me, I would feel like crying. I couldn't feed myself and I couldn't take care of myself. How can you sleep under a roof and in a cozy bed when some people are out there with nothing? Care for other people so they can care for you. Care. How many lives can you change today?
Ron, I was watching the news last night. I saw a school in Maryland is spending over $80,000 to change their name from the Indians. I wonder how long before someone brings that up here with the Parma Redmen.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about that from the professional level right on down. In fact, the Miami Redskins in Oxford, Ohio. On the run is Myers by himself, knocked out of bounds, making the stop for the Southview Saints, Adel Velez.
Ron, that's a game saver.
And
he's short.
We're going to see, it sure looks from here like he did not make the first down.
They're going to measure, they're going to bring it all the way across.
Wow. And we've got
I think that's the kid that made the tackle. I think that's Velez that made the tackle. That's a great, great open field play, if in fact it is short.
Our cameraman, producer, and director, who's got the close eye, the eagle eye on the plays, said it should be about a half-yard short. And if that be the case, man, all Southview's got to do is just hang on to the ball.
Ron, you know, some people may wonder how they get that all the way across the field and walk it straight. If you notice, the official has the chain in his hand, and he has a little clip that starts on the yard line. And he'll put it back to the yard line.
Right on the 10, yeah.
Right on the 10, and then they'll stretch it out.
And it is shy of the first down. The Southview Saints have held, and Velez has got to feel like a real hero. He's hurt, but he has got to feel like a real hero in this ball game. Wow.
He got up a little quicker, Ron, when he saw that it was short and it was the first down.
Somehow, the reality of what he did, and the reality, too, barring anything that would happen that,
There were two great plays, defensive plays. Ramirez stepping up and sticking that guy in the backfield to go 4th and 4, and then Velez catching that quarterback in the open field, making a tackle.
Well, Coach Tony Shoulders and the entire coaching staff and the team said, we are dedicating ourselves. And what's going on here?
Oh, they just got...
Oh, they're going to put the knee down.
They just got Jeff back there in case the ball gets loose or something happens. I'm not sure Tony wants him that far back.
All right. Quarterback Majoris just put the knee to the ground. However, with 1 minute and 3 seconds remaining, the Parma Redmen have called a timeout. They're going to take advantage of whatever timeouts they have remaining. 1:03 remaining. It's going to be 2nd down and 10. We'll be back in a moment.
Hey man, what you need? What do I need? What do I need? I need to graduate.
I need a job when I grow up. I need a future. I need to laugh. I need to have fun. I need to be a kid. I need to be healthy. I need a chance. I need peace. I need friends who care about me.
Most of all, what I need is for you to get lost.
The next time a pusher asks you what you need, let him know.
Ron, I'm not sure how many timeouts Parma has, but Southview evidently knows that they don't have enough to
run out the clock. Well,
I think they called one earlier, so that might be their last one.
Anyway, Majoris took the knee again.
And if in fact that's their last one, Southview's going to snap the ball at probably 30 seconds
Well, they
and he
didn't
just
call the
spotted it,
timeout.
so they have all the way to the to 25 seconds, and then that's definitely the last play.
No timeout has been called, so obviously this is going to be it.
Well, I think they got to snap it one more time.
One more time, yes, one more time, and then this will be it. And it will be victory number 2. But we were saying that Coach Tony Shoulders, his staff, and the players, and we do have the flag now, and that would mean delay of game. They just couldn't get it off in time, and that stopped the clock with 21 seconds. But needless to say, one more play, and definitely the clock will run out. But they have dedicated that this year, and they did the same thing last year, but it just didn't materialize for them. They want a winning season. It's been a long time since Southview has had a winning season. They ended the year 2000 with a 4-6 record, and there's your last play with the clock running down now, 9, 8.
Well, with a running back, Ron, that can score 4 touchdowns and run for 260 yards, you got a chance to have a great season, barring an injury.
They will. And one of the other things they've dedicated themselves to doing, and that is beating Admiral King. They had the horses and they had the team the last 2 years, and you would have to say that King's victory was an upset in each case. But they rose to the occasion. It'll be another
you know,
great
anytime
game
you get
this
in
year.
that rivalry, you can throw records out and you can throw players out. And
the whole shot.
The whole everything goes.
Anyway, we'll be back to wrap this all up right after this timeout.
What would you do if a stranger talked to you?
I wouldn't talk to them because it might be bad.
Very good. And what would you tell someone playing with matches?
I would tell them not to play with them because they might start a fire.
Wow. How come you know so much?
My mommy told me.
Oh, and what did your mommy tell you about drugs?
Your children are listening. Are you talking?
Barry, we knew we were going to have a great ball game tonight here at George Daniels Stadium with the Southview Saints hosting the Parma Redmen, but I never dreamt in a million years it would be that great of a ball game. I mean, we saw it all tonight, and your comments and your thoughts.
Well, I think you might now know why Jeff Hughes is picked as one of the top 50 juniors in the state of Ohio. They had him with approximately 270 yards, 4 scores. He did it all, and it came down, even to the great effort like that, it came down to a saving tackle by Idel Velez to save the game for Southview.
And on 27 carries, so you might say unofficially, Jeff Hughes had 10 yards per carry. Running down the scoring situation for the Southview Saints, they scored second to tie the ball game at 7-7 on a 51-yard run by Jeff Hughes. Josh Fosse's extra point attempt was good. Southview then scored again in the second quarter on a Jeff Hughes 2.5-yard run. The extra point was no good. Southview then picked up a 2-point safety when a bad snap from center went over the punter's head for Parma, and he kicked it out of the end zone. Then, with the ball back in Southview's hands, Jeff Hughes ran 5 yards for a TD. The extra point failed, and on that 5-yard touchdown run, that came after a 67-yard run was negated due to a clipping penalty against Southview. The score at the end of the first half was 21-21. Then in the third quarter, Southview went ahead on a pass play from Mark Majoris to Jason Messer, a 5-yard pass play. Southview leading 28-21. And then the Parma Redmen tied the ball game at 28-28. And finally, with 4 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in the ball game, Jeff Hughes for Southview on a 43-yard run. The extra point no good. It was 34-28. And as you pointed out, Barry, Adel Velez with that game-saving tackle on Myers, the quarterback for Parma, saving a touchdown or at least another first down with goal to goal for Parma, and the ball game going in the win schedule. So the Southview Saints now with a 2-0 record on the season. The Parma Redmen still to win a ball game, losing to Valley Forge and now to Southview. Next week, the Southview Saints travel to Warrensville Heights to take on another Lake Erie League team. And we'll be back here with a game with Admiral King and the Elyria Pioneers. Any final thoughts?
Tony and his Southview team have been in 2 close games last week, 7-6. at Maple Heights. This week, 34-28. I think Tony is hoping he can get a breather here and get a little more exciting. It can't get much more exciting we saw tonight, Ron. For $5, people definitely got their money's worth to see 62 points scored and kids giving it all they got.
Amen to that. And we certainly hope if you're watching this game on TV 20, and obviously if you're listening to us, you are, you ought to be down here watching these kids perform in George Daniel Stadium. Barry and I will be back here next week, Friday, to bring you the Admiral King Elyria Pioneer football game. Until then, for my partner Barry Buck, for our cameraman, producer, and director Joe Bach, I'm Ron Bacalar. Our final score again from George Daniel Stadium, Southview 34, Parma 28. Good night, everyone.
This has been a production of Lorraine City Schools TV.